Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Shi. I'm the current chair of Overseas Taiwanese Engineer Association, OTEA, as well as your MC for today's session. On behalf of OTEA, I'm pleased to announce the opening of OTEA first online information sharing event. As this online event is open to the public, in addition to the founding members of OTEA, we also have several newcomers joining us today. So I would like to welcome everybody online today. The primary purpose of OTEA is to promote Taiwanese engineers in civil construction to connect with the world with the mission of taking our engineering careers to the next level. Regardless of your current work experience, this information sharing and professional networking platform is definitely of great help in developing your engineering career. You are welcome to join OTEA with your open mind and professionalism. Let's share what we know, learn and inspire each other, and explore all the possibilities. If you would like to join us, please fill out the application form on the OTEA website, otea.network. Okay, before we get started, here are some housekeeping remarks. First, please mute your microphone as we will be taking some screenshots at this event for future promotion. If you do not wish to show your photos, please turn off your camera. We will be recording this webinar from the beginning. However, we will stop recording when the speaker finishes his presentation and begins to be interviewed by the moderator for an in-depth discussion. You are welcome to put your questions in the chat box. The moderator will bring up your questions to the speaker, and the speaker will be happy to answer all of your questions. Here we go. Today, I'm honored to introduce two of our founding members, Dr. Edward Wang and Dr. Tony Yang, as our speaker and moderator of today's information sharing event. Both of them are originally from Taiwan and have outstanding achievement overseas. Tony, currently based in Vancouver, is a professor in the Department of Civil Engineering at the University of British Columbia. His research focuses on improving the structural performance through novel technologies such as base isolation systems and dampers. As for our speaker today, Edward is the Vice Chair of Overseas Taiwanese Engineer Association. He is currently based in San Francisco and working for Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, San Francisco Regional Office as a civil engineer. Prior to his current job, he was a professor of Mincing University of Science and Technology. I believe in the following open discussion, Edward and Tony will tell us more about themselves. Next, I'll hand over to Tony. Tony, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night for everybody. My name is Tony Yang. Thank you so much for inviting me here, Jasmine and Edward. It's truly my pleasure to have the opportunity to meet everyone here tonight. As Jasmine says, I'm Tony Yang. I'm one of the professors here in the Department of Civil Engineering at Vancouver, UBC. It's truly my pleasure to have the opportunity to interact with Edward tonight, and hopefully we can engage with some interesting discussion, and hopefully we could inspire most of you to come up and present it or discuss about your ideas. That will do from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to share with everybody to spend the first activities that we're looking at the Global Engineering Organization. In the next 20 minutes, I will spend time to show everybody what happened in the past and what is the current status of Taiwanese international participations. The ultimate goal is to recommend probably serve as a reference for OTEA future development. This is the outline of my presentation today. The logic and flow of the presentation starts from the central government and then move to non-government organizations. And I will also introduce two Taiwanese engineering organizations, namely CICHE and CIE, what they have done in the past, in recent years. And also the last part of this presentation will cover regional engineering organizations such as FEAP, CAFEO, and so on. Lastly, I would conclude my presentation with some remarks, recommendations. What are the current status of international organization membership? It is very clear, listed in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website. Out of 40 full members, keep in mind, Taiwan has only 40 full membership in the world. Out of those organizations, APEC, Asian Pacific Economic Corporation, and ADB, Asian Development Bank, are the two major organizations directly related to the engineering community. I'm sure everybody knows about APEC. We heard about the news every year. The 2021 APEC Economic Leader Meeting will be held in New Zealand this year on the week of November 8th, 2021. Every year, Taiwan will send 150 delegates, including government officials and private business owners, to participate in the annual event. In fact, Taiwan chairs many focus groups and heavily involved in APEC ministry meeting. If you want to analyze APEC as a country level, the National Development Council actually has devoted themselves, and with the involvement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the box below, you can see the Department of International Organization led by Honorable Mrs. Sharon Wu, that really promote Taiwan as a nation in the Asian Pacific region. Every year, they spend money and asking Taiwan Institute of Economic Research to organize training programs for anyone who are interested in participating in this event, annual meeting, including our government officials. They have to go through training. How do they master the whole international business? By taking the training, APEC training. The training is also available for general public to participate. The other organization that Taiwan has a full membership, actually, we are the founding member of Asian Pacific or Asian Development Bank. ADB has its headquarters located in Manila, the Philippines. By ADB Constitution, the president of ADB is a Japanese. Taiwan owns 1.09% share. Therefore, out of a 1,000 employee, full-time employee at ADB, Taiwan must have 10 full-time employee working at ADB. If you look at the black box on the lower left-hand side, we have two organizations. One of them is International Cooperation and Development Fund, and one employee comes from Central Bank of the Republic of China, our central bank. Those two are holding 2 seats as a full-time employee at the ADB. Right now, Taiwan has about 6 or 7 employees at the Asian Development Bank, which is way below what we deserve to have, the quota. One of the white glove of Taiwanese government, I would say I have to mention, is the Taiwan External Trade Development Council. They hold the key to a lot of international organizations and they are the key player managing international financial institutions. When it comes to ADB, TITRA has annual budget to manage teams and gather business owners to visit ADB. It's an honor that I took a team in 2017 to visit Asian Development Bank. We visited the management of ADB, trying to promote our engineering specialists so that one of these days we will be able to win contracts from ADB. Long story short, we haven't had any success yet. If you are interested in knowing more about those national level efforts, I would love to spend time with you, but that's beyond the scope of today's presentation. What I'm showing to everybody is that this is the picture of what the ever-changing global political landscape. The room for Taiwan international partnership is extremely difficult from the government perspective. Therefore, a non-government, even professional society, we should take the initiative to promote engineering as a whole or civil engineering society. The private sector or academia, university, research institutions were more flexible and less restricted than government entities when it comes to international affairs. Secondly, I would like to get into more detail about civil engineering society. What have we done in the past? It goes without saying that we must mention CICHE. The Chinese Institute of Civil and Hydraulic Engineers is the leading society that get involved in international programs. Currently, the president of CICHE is the Dean of Engineering at the Taipei University of Technology. On the right-hand side, you see the picture of the president or the chairman of the International Affairs Committee under CICHE. As a founding member, CICHE involved in Asian Civil Engineering Coordinating Council, along with 13 different countries in Asian region. I happen to be the Deputy Secretary General for ASEC, the Asian Civil Engineering Coordinating Council, for 6 years. So I developed the newsletter for the society. I also create a Facebook web page to promote Young Engineer Exchange. I also led Anti-Corruption Committee for Asian Civil Engineering Coordinating Council. Over the year, we held many meetings and annual conventions. These just bunch photos showing every year CICHE will send 2 delegates. In most of the time, the chairman or the president of CICHE will participate in the annual convention along with the help from the chairman of International Affairs. And every year we will publish an article showing everybody about the results. And then this is 2015, 2014, even 2013. The reason I'm showing all these photos because I have a personal attachment with this society, so I understand civil engineering as a whole is working hard. However, the membership fee is extremely high. CICHE paid $25,000 per year in order to keep the membership. We're considered the high income country in the Asian Pacific region, so that's why it is very expensive to keep the international partnership as a member. So Chinese Institute of Engineers, on the other hand, has more resources because the financial situation. The current president and met with our President CICHE early this year, and also same as CICHE, Chinese Institute of Engineers also have a committee of international affairs. We are a full member. As a matter of fact, the founding member of World Federation of Engineering Organization in the world. Every year, they have annual convention. One happen on the Eastern world, and one on the next year will be on the Western side of the world. As you can see, geographically, Taiwan belongs to the Asian Pacific region. And next year, 2022, the WFEO will have their annual convention. I'm not sure, Costa Rica, right? Every year, not only the annual convention is held in different country, they also have committee meetings. There are a bunch committees on the right-hand side. Another international organization is FIDIC. It was created 100 years ago by the French government. It is mostly for contracts, standard languages, and international procurement. For those of us who are working in the consulting business, you must use FIDIC contracts as a standard practice for international contracts. Another platform that must introduce is the International Engineer Alliance. This is the organization that hosts 6 international agreements, 3 related to engineering education, that is Washington Accord, Sydney Accord, and Dublin Accord. Taiwan International Engineering Education Taiwan, IET, is a full member of Washington Accord. And also this organization, this platform covers 3 other competency agreements. That is International Professional Engineer Agreement, APEC Engineer Agreement, and also International Engineering Technologist Agreement. Taiwan is also a full member of IEA. Every year, we send delegates to participate in this very important event. This is a typical agenda for a 1-week annual event. Keep in mind, these annual convention is not participated by individual members. They don't have individual members. It's the economies or the full signatory authority to become the member. Personally, I was a CEO for Chinese Taipei, APEC, and International Professional Monitoring Committee. That's why I participate this international forum for years. This is 2017, 2016. On the bottom right-hand side, you see we take the opportunity to meet with EA, Engineer Australia representative, to talk about recognitions, mutual recognition of engineering qualifications. I want to also spend 5 minutes talking about a story. Back in 2017, we, as a Taiwanese, we started a new organization within IEA. The network of accreditation body for engineering education in Asia was created because several Asian economies, they are unable to join or become a full signatory authority for Washington Accord. As you can see the photo here, Dr. Yan, who used to be the engineering dean of engineering in National Taiwan University, he created and helped facilitate the new organization within IEA called NAREEA. The purpose of this newborn organization is meant to help underprivileged economies like Southeast Asian countries to be a full signatory authority of Washington Accord. During the interim period, Taiwan take our examples and show everybody, demonstrate how we become a full signatory of Washington Accord, and we start helping our Southeast Asian neighboring countries. And it was well respected, and we believe this should be a model for Taiwanese to enter international arena. Close to the end, I would like to talk about individual membership. So far, we have been talking about membership that is participated by national level or a society. There are many regions in the world that they see the benefit of gathering engineers together. For instance, in European country, FEANI is the organization that gather all the engineers in one body. FEANI also created this organization to help young engineer by creating an engineering card. So the engineering education and their qualifications are recognized regardless where engineer go. Every European country will recognize this card and allow engineers with this qualification to practice in Europe. They also have a subcommittee called EYE to promote young engineers. In the Asian region, obviously, we have FEAP, the Federation of Engineering Institutions of Asia Pacific, that they held annual meetings, actually twice a year. They have this executive committee meetings. So twice a year, representative from Asian countries and Pacific country, including New Zealand, Australia, you name it, they all join under one umbrella to discuss emerging market and also the topic of their interest. Every other year, they hold FEAP conference for engineers to make presentation. It's a great networking opportunity for Asian Pacific engineers. And also, there is an organization called AFEO. It's the ASEAN Federation Engineering Organization. It is very close to FEAP, except that this AFEO does. Why do they want to create AFEO? Because ASEAN country is probably the third largest economy in the world in 11 ASEAN countries, they create a branding for engineers called ASEAN Engineers in order to promote engineer mobility among ASEAN countries. Every year, every 3 years, they will organize CAFEO, the conference for AFEO member, and also they have a subcommittee for young engineers. All right, so far we have introduced many international organizations that related to civil engineer or engineer as a whole. What about us? What about OTEA? It is very important that we start learning that the new technology, taking advantage of the World Wide Web to make friends, to get connected. I'm sure OTEA, since this is the beginning, we're using internet to promote and also give monthly activities. Let's try this OTEA membership that we know each other, we take advantage of the website and the monthly activity, we start building networks. It is also our wish to build international relations through individual efforts. All the international organization I talked about, it may comes to the society level or the national level, but keep in mind, all the successful story comes from individuals, the personal relationship that really helps, that make things happen. So OTEA, likewise, we would like to connect people. As long as you're talking to the right people, getting the right connections, and receiving the relevant information, that it will be no doubt be helpful to further anybody's career development. OTEA was established to serve the goal. I'm calling all participants today to share and to learn from each other. Science has shown the most successful people are often those who really rely heavily on power of networking. With that, I would like to conclude the presentation today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your sharing. And I believe everyone has got valuable information from your in-depth discussion. We have a few minutes left. So if you have some more questions for the speakers, please feel free to raise your hand. So does anyone has any question for the speaker?
They asked if I can share my slide. Yes, my slide is free.
Okay, so before we conclude this session, I would like everyone to ask yourself, if I have taken anything away from today's event and see any possibilities, you can think about this. As we are working to enrich the OTEA member experience, we have placed a link to a post-event survey in the chat box. Ming, please. You are welcome to take a survey and tell us what you think as a newcomer. We would greatly appreciate your feedback. And just before we go, I have an announcement to make. Our next online information sharing event is scheduled for 15 August, and the topic of discussion will be Embrace the Energetic Engineering Career in Australia. Dr. Irwin O from Australia will be our speaker to talk about the pathways for overseas qualification and skills to be recognized by Engineers Australia. Quite a valuable piece of information to share. You can't miss it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. And once again, if you would like to join OTEA, please fill out the application form on our website, otea.network. And if you require a training certificate for today's online learning event, please send your request to our email address, info@otea.network. And we also put the links in the chat box for your reference. Thank you very much for your time. And please stay tuned for future events on our website. And enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Nice. That's a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.